Right, so we're less than a month away from WWDC, which means we have tons of iOS 17 tidbits, so let's delve into it. So as I said in my previous iOS 17 video, please take all of this with a grain of salt because previous iOS leaks have been completely false, and if you think about it, it's very easy to purposely leak out fake software leaks compared to hardware, so yes. Here's your warning guys, to not immediately trust all these rumors. Anyways, with that being said, the first thing I want to delve into is the ability to close all apps at once on iOS. This is apparently in the works, and it's a feature Android has had for years, but I'll be honest, do we really need this? Because honestly, I rarely have to close apps on my phone, and if I ever need to close apps, it's usually one application that's acting up and needs to be force closed, so I really don't understand why we need a close all apps button. And for those wondering, could this save battery life? Well, I doubt it, because if you close all apps, your iPhone would have to relaunch everything again, which uses up battery life. So ultimately, I don't care about this, and I don't want this. Anyways, moving on to more exciting features, we have one source telling us Apple's focusing on performance and stability for older iPhones, similar to what they did with iOS 12, which I'm a fan of, because I definitely think iOS desperately needs a refinement year because iOS 16 was pretty rough, but more excitingly, we could apparently get 1 extra hour of battery life. Now, I do want to mention I have my doubts about that because improving battery life on older iPhones purely with an update does not seem very likely, especially when, of course, battery health can vary per device. However, as someone with a 14 Pro Max, if iOS 17 can somehow improve the battery life for new devices, that would be nice because I feel like iOS 16 did not do the 14 series justice when it came to endurance. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. The next feature we've heard about is actually regarding the lack of a new feature, because for those wanting customizability and some sort of redesign for iOS, there will be no new icons. Now, I'm not surprised by this because ever since we saw the Big Sur redesign for macOS, every year there's someone claiming those new icons will come to iOS, but we have yet to see anything, so at this point, I've just given up waiting for this. Also, if I'm being honest, I'm not too bothered by the lack of a redesign for iOS. The current design works, and I'm sure most are fine with how iOS looks, and for those who aren't, well, I think that's where Apple should give us a theme store, because when iOS 14 introduced widgets and a way to change the icons, many changed up their home screens, but of course remember people are changing icons using shortcuts I believe, and it's not an easy process, so if Apple natively supported this, it would be nice. And like I said regarding third-party watch faces, they can take a share from money generated from these icons, and it's pretty simple for them to have a section in the App Store for icons that customers can buy. Now, moving on to sideloading, this is a feature Apple plans to introduce within Europe to comply with new laws, but of course Apple's not going to make this easy to do because ultimately they're not on board with this. So if I'm going to guess, it's going to be buried in settings, and there's going to be tons of warnings, and only Apple IDs made within Europe can access this. And also I'm pretty sure that any company that wants to add a third-party app store to iOS will have to pay a fee and also be approved. So basically, Apple's going to do everything they can to put developers off from doing this. And actually recently, Apple released a newsroom post regarding how they support small developers, and more developers are joining them every year. So that should tell you guys, they really want everyone to stay within the official App Store. Now, moving on to something I'm looking forward to, we have rumors regarding a new journaling app for iOS. Initially, when I heard this, I was assuming Apple was just going to be copying day one, where of course you can easily write down your thoughts for each day, and basically it would be a virtual diary. However, it seems Apple's plans are going to be a little different. So for each day, any fitness, health or meditation data, and also any photos you took on the day will be automatically uploaded, and you might get to add a little comment to attach with this data. On top of this, the phone's also going to collect information regarding your physical proximity from other people to show you how much time you're spending with colleagues and friends outside work, which is certainly interesting. Apple also plans to include how much time you spend at home in a day and whether a specific day included something outside the norm, like maybe traveling to a new country or city. Now all of this sounds a little intrusive, I can't lie, but Apple, as always, will focus on privacy. But even then, I'm hoping you can select what's included and what's not included. And ultimately, according to the Wall Street Journal, the plan is, and I quote, to let users compile their daily activities as part of Apple's efforts in the market for technology surrounding mental and physical health. So yes, ultimately, let's see what Apple does with this. I'm looking forward to testing it. Now, last year with the lock screen, we got some big changes. And so as one expects, the upgrades are going to be minor this time. Apparently, you should now be able to change the font size on the lock screen and also share lock screens, which is pretty cool actually, because if your friend had a lock screen design you like, they could probably now airdrop it to you and boom, you now have the same wallpaper and layout. That's pretty neat. The next thing that's been rumored is a redesign for the Wallet app. So obviously Apple recently has given us a lot of functionality to the Wallet app, and so it seems Apple wants to lay out these features in a more cohesive manner. So we actually have a mock-up from a source, and there will now be a navigation bar at the bottom that separates your cards and passes, your daily cash, keys, IDs, and orders. You should also be able to swipe down to search for specific cards or pass, and yeah, overall these are nice changes that's very much needed. I do want to mention though, and it's a question for you guys, but does the orders tab actually work for anyone? Because I know it does not support all merchants, but even when I order through Apple, nothing actually comes up. I hope iOS 17 can fix this. Now for those who use Apple Maps, we could see a redesign as to how it looks when the device is locked, because currently if your iPhone's telling you directions, the Maps app takes over the screen and lock screen elements are hidden. But now with iOS 17, you should be able to see directions with the lock screen elements, and you'll still be able to see notifications by swiping up on the device. So yeah, not the most game-changing feature in the world, but that is a nice change. Finally, I do want to mention that Gurman said we could see Find My improvements, but as per usual, he does not say what exactly is changing. What I'm personally hoping is the case is Apple finally letting family members see where your AirTag is. I think it's pretty stupid that if my mom loses the keys, I can't go on my phone and track the AirTag, but I can see the location of her phone, her iPad, and other devices in our family. So please change the Apple. I'm pretty sure we can trust family members to check on our AirTags if needed. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.